All right then, another
Derek.
controversial one. Here we go.
Ooh, you're saying that has me concerned. Yeah, my
Invent
bad.
Anime.
Cut it out in
Invent
post. Invent
Invent
Anime.
Anime.
Man, have dropped their newest album, Heavener.
As far as I'm concerned, they've dropped a new song called False Meridian.
It's so surprising me that you like that as much as you do.
Me
I'll
too,
take it,
honestly.
Right? Like, so I'm hearing a controversial, the C word being dropped by Jacob over here.
The
Jacob.
C word.
Jacob, why is this controversial? What am I missing here? Tell me what I need to be thinking.
I will give you the most controversial opinion.
Okay.
I've seen this band live twice.
Okay.
One time, they played without their vocalist.
Weird, but okay.
The time they played without their vocalist, I thought they were better. That pretty much sums up my opinion on this band.
Wow. Okay, I'm with it. So tell me why. Did you? So for full transparency, did you hear this album front to back?
Yeah, a few times.
Okay. So what are we feeling? What part of this vocally is?
This is their best album.
Agreed.
But it's not for me. I don't know. I'm really picky with my prog metalcore, I guess. I like some Era. I like some North Lane, and then that's about it. Honestly, I don't think there's anything else. What else do I listen? Maybe like one or two Periphery songs.
One or two might be a little generous, but yeah.
I like Reptile, the 18-minute one.
You gotta be fucking.
No, I love Reptile and Blood Eagle.
You picked one Periphery song to like, and it was the 18-minute one.
Yes, I like Blood Eagle and Reptile. Those are the two Periphery songs I have saved.
So anyway, this Invent Animate album.
Yeah.
Guess,
yeah, go.
No, that was it.
Oh, again. I'm gonna kind of echo what you're saying.
Do you want me to say my opinion on this album before you go into why you love it?
No, because I think that my love for this album has been outshined by my love for another album that we're going to talk later about.
Oh god.
And so I have thoughts really quickly because because I think that I agree with Jacob in that I am very picky with my prog metalcore as well. And I think that for whatever reason, bands are just dropping albums of songs that I like and then fucking off. Because I didn't like, really, I mean, I heard Greyview. I heard As the Sun Sleeps Like It Never Was, or As It Never Was. And I didn't really love anything that I was hearing there. And then I think Heavener is a perfect track-for-track phenomenal album. And I feel that same sort of way about Era and their self-titled. And I think for whatever reason, these bands are dropping one-off albums that I can love before they might go back to being something that I don't enjoy as much. What I will say is that I think that this, alongside one other album that we're going to talk about later, are joining Northlane's Obsidian in the conversation of albums that are going to define the scene moving forward for the day. And I think that for some of its faults, this album as a whole is probably the best progressive metalcore album that has ever released. I would challenge you to find a better one.
Drift by Era or Alien by Northlane. Those are my two answers.
Okay. I'm with you. I disagree, but I'm with you. I think that those albums, both in their sequential order, built up to what we get here. But I wanna give the floor to Jake for a second because I'm interested to see how he feels about this with everything removed. Because he is not traditionally a progressive metalcore guy.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's similar with like Era. I only liked a handful of songs off of that Era album, and it's the same story here. I am taking my Without a Whisper and False Meridian and moving on. I do also have Purity Weeps and Void Surfacing in my playlist. I haven't gone back to those two songs nearly as much. I think they're fine. Like they're progressive metalcore songs. They don't do anything offensive enough for me to dislike them, which half of this album kind of does. Immolation of Night, Elysium, those types of songs. Just those types of songs are just not for me. False Meridian should also not be a song for me, but for whatever reason, I love it. And I don't know why, but I'm able to just kind of shake off the harsh vocals in the song. And like if you asked me to tell you a word in the song, I could not tell you.
Dude, that's the problem with Prog.
I could not tell you a word in any of the harsh vocal deliveries, and like I would have to listen to the song again to like remember, oh, that's what the chorus is saying.
I can't relate to Prog lyrics.
Instrumentally, False Meridian is unbelievable.
That's what I'm saying, man.
The riffs are incredible, but I think really, Derek, you were going to highlight the breakdown if I wasn't. The atmosphere in the breakdown of False Meridian is like borderline unparalleled.
I think that maybe not as strongly across the entire album, but that's a theme that really sells Heavener for me, is that, because I agree with you, Jacob, for the most part, Prog is either unlistenable or listenable, but you can't discern it. In that you listen to it for fun because you enjoy the way that it sounds, but at the end of the day, you can't relate.
Yep.
That's why I feel like Drift and Alien are like exceptions. Less so Alien, but Drift especially. Actually, no, Alien is pretty emotional.
So, I guess for me, and maybe this is definitely coming out of personal taste, I couldn't connect with Drift or Alien at all in the same way that I connect with Heavener. So I think that maybe with those three, it's a matter of personal taste and where you feel and how you connect with the sound and the lyrics accordingly. Because for me, Heavener is this perfect emotional package that even with Era's self-titled, as much as you all know I loved it when it dropped, that it didn't really necessarily at times feel like a cohesive album. This, for the most part, the songs and the lyrical themes all flow into one each other really well. And so even in the moments where I think that this isn't as strong, maybe on songs like Reverie, which I think fit perfectly into the context of the album, but as a song maybe are weaker, or Emberglow, that if I treat this album like a journey and one long track and experience, I think that it really yields itself to being an incredible album to listen to and experience front to back, with lyricism talking about longing and loss and gaining what was lost and then losing it again and feeling with that pain. And I think that emotionally and sonically, if you take the time to delve past its Prog surface, you really get into the meat of this album, which is its emotional draw, which is hard, admittedly, when you're hearing these Prog riffs and these breakdowns, which are like, holy shit, like I've got this stank face half the time with how heavy it is. But there's something really special about this album to be had in terms of how it makes me feel. And again, that's entirely subjective, but there's a lot of atmosphere here, and I think that if you feel this album, the atmosphere lends itself to that. If you're not feeling this album, the atmosphere detracts from it and makes you feel kind of lost in this 50-minute listen. Does that feel fair to say? Because I feel like at times this album kind of blurs together, and if you're not really feeling it, it can be kind of painful to chug through some of these songs. Because, I mean, it's a 50-minute Prog album. A 50-minute Prog album is a hard sell. And if you're not connecting with it and you're not finding that piece to it, absolutely. I mean, the same reason that I had to make poor Jake sit stone-faced through that Era self-titled 2 years ago.
Hey, I enjoyed a handful of songs off of that. I'm pretty sure they were the 3 opening tracks, and then there was 9 more after that. But...
Right. Yeah, everything after Gungrave is a blur. Like,
yeah.
I think that that songs like the transition from the end of Purity Weeps into that incredible riff at the start of Void Surfacing are moments that are objectively like, okay, any fan can enjoy this. I think that truly Heavener is either going to end up on people's most disappointing albums list or their top 10 lists with very few in between, solely because it's very proggy. And if you're not a fan of prog and you're not loving this, then you're not going to take that step further to connect with. For me, as a whole, even if there weren't specific lyrics that I could connect to, I could feel the emotion being transmitted through those lyrics because I took that step further and went past that proggy surface. And I love it. And again, that's not going to be for everybody because this album is really proggy. I mean, it's Invent Animate. They're like the kings of progressive metalcore besides Periphery, as far as I'm concerned. And I haven't loved anything from them besides this, but I get to this, damn. I've got every single track on this album saved. And I think that for what it is, I think Periphery could take notes from this. I think that Eric could take notes from this. I think that this is a genre defined. And the fact that Invent Animate haven't broken through before kind of baffles me. But I think that they've introduced more cleans now. And I'm interested to see, if nothing else, where this band goes moving forward. Because with the introduction of more cleans, they have the ability to break through the mainstream. Like Without a Whisper is already getting play on Sirius Octane. I think it's their most popular song right now. Yeah, absolutely. They're at 1.2 million, which is past Immolation of Night, which I believe, besides Shade Astray, was their lead single. So there's potential here. The singing's improved, the instrumentation is improved. If you can get past that really technical proggy surface, there's a lot to love here. And at that point, it's up to you to connect to it in the way that I have. For some people, absolutely. For others, maybe not.
I can't remember. Did this vocalist do Graveyard, or was that
Yes,
the previous?
it's the same vocalist. Every time. It's the same cleans and uncleans, I believe. For both.
So that was his. This is his second album then.
Yeah. This is leagues above Graveyard, by the way. I mean, like just
100%. 100%.
Dude took 2 years to learn how to sing, and he pulled it off with incredible finesse. I've seen him with Without a Whisper.
Do you what is the name? What is like the? It feels like the title of the tracks are like Elden Ring.
Right? Yeah, no, exactly.
Elden Ring titles.
I don't think that has anything to do with the album and more so with prog as a genre. I feel like prog lends itself to being complicated for no reason.
That's true.
I mean, look at all the song names on Era self-titled.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some things with like, I would say Purity Weeps and Without a Whisper and maybe Shade Astray, Absence Personate that I see relating to the themes. The rest of them, maybe I haven't delved enough deep. Who knows? Who the fuck knows what they mean? Like, good luck to anybody wanting to unpack it. But I think that also too is a testament to the album and the genre that maybe you could unpack it and find something. This abstracting away all the details, I think this is definitely an album that has a lot of nuance to it that you're either going to attach yourself to or feel polarized from. For me, I attach myself to it. For people who don't love prog, maybe not. For people who are on the fence, one way or the other, you know, this isn't something that I feel like objectively has a lot to love one way or the other. But for people who do enjoy it, they're going to love it. And for people who don't, I feel like they're going to push themselves away from it. And I personally love albums like that because it provides for a lot of interesting discourse. But in terms of top 10 material, I don't know. For me, probably. For you guys, maybe not.
Maybe not. I feel like that's being generous.
maybe might be a generous word. Yeah. It's my one of taking a look at this album, probably two albums that I feel have more to say about. And I think that might just be by virtue of the fact that there's so much going on. But I think that if nothing else, through this album, in contrast to Graveyard, Invent Animate have defined themselves as definitely a band to watch who are finding exponential improvement from their previous material. And I think that I want to put them in the same conversation as Bad Omens in terms of they have been so much better than the previous material. I want to see how far they can stretch their next album and see exactly where they go.
I don't like the Bad Omens comparison.
Yeah,
but I like the point that you're making.
Yeah, I will take that. I'll take that.